Hello YouTube, welcome back to new Clash Royale video. For today's video, I'll be giving out some tips and strategies for completing the double elixir draft challenge. So the first entry is a free entry and the top prizes are 11,000 gold and 550 cards. And at the top prize, you're guaranteed 5 epics and 55 rares. But let's say you're not fortunate and you go 0 and 3. Very unfortunate. You get like a bunch of Sparkies and Inferno Dragons in your deck. Either way, you'll get 700 gold and 10 cards with 1 guaranteed rare. But I already completed the challenge. Here you can see I completed 12 wins. And the challenge only lost 2 times. So I'll be going over a couple of my matches and explaining my thought process and the best way to play unknown cards. Because in the game right now there's what, 72 cards? So out of 72 cards, we're only playing like 8 or like at most 32 cards. Like I don't think, like no one is good at playing all 72 cards in a game. For sure there's people that could do more with a card, like they're more experienced with it, they know how to play it well. But for those people that haven't used a card or like never even touched or upgraded the card, it could be very hard in a draft challenge to win uh if your opponent gives you cards you haven't used before. So the first match on the show is this one against this guy from 3 Pig Mini. I actually gave him the expo because I didn't know. So right here, first off, yeah, I gave him the expo because I was hoping I got a tank, maybe like a giant or a P.E.K.K.A or a golem to like tank the expo. And I chose the E-barbs. And my thought process there was, if I don't get a tank, the E-barbs will be great at countering the expo because it's a 6 for 6. Then right here I chose a zap to zap any like small units to clear the path of my E-barbs. So it's double elixir time already. Well, the whole 3 minutes are double elixir time. Plus the overtime is also double elixir time. So here he starts off with the goblin I gave him. And I start off with the minion in the back. And since it's double elixir, you want to play aggressively, but always reserve some defensive cards. Like for me, a defensive card is the bowler and the ice wizard. So you want to reserve those cards for pushes. The wizard in this challenge, if you get an option with the wizard is actually a pretty good card because a lot of people will be spamming down and cycling their units throughout the battles, and it's always double elixir time. So the wizard is actually a good card for clearing out the small spam units. It's more of a supportive card, so on pushes, let's say. And here he puts the X1 in the back. And this is where the struggle happens because I can't really place my E-barbs on that side because of the lumberjack, but either he still counters it. But he had a very interesting plan. I think he realized that maybe since I have the bowler, he's giving it some time to for defense to avoid as much damage as possible. So here, at this point, I kind of found out his game because he has the lightning spell, and the lightning spell does great damage against the tower and units. Like you see there, it took care of my counter push. So I could already kind of tell that he's trying to cycle me out, and when you could tell someone's trying to cycle you out with spells, my tip for that is try to match them. So like let's say they drop you drop a musketeer at the back and they rocket the musketeer, but then if they do the same thing, have like lightning spell the musketeer and the tower. So always try to match your opponent if you're kind of if both of you playing defense and you need win condition. So that's a tip. Just cycle spells to take out the tower of both. If you and the opponent both have a very defensive deck and no one's really making moves on the tower. But on the other hand, if you have like a very strong beatdown deck, like let's say Golem or like a strong P.E.K.K.A graveyard deck in this, especially in this challenge, because in this challenge, you can cycle through cards very quickly. I'm going using the spells just as support, just like you would with the bowler or wizard, just like support the push. And right here, it's getting kind of tricky. So I'm trying to push the opposite lane to make him put cards on the opposite side. Because on this side, my tower is already below 1,000 hit points. So right now I'm kind of struggling. And then he puts Expo in the middle. So right here, you could for sure tell that he wants to defend and just letting me out for the win. And yeah, he's like lightning my tower with no troops in the area. And there I zap the tower. It's kind of a prediction zap because I also got the witch. But here I reset with the bowler. And he resets with the goblin hut. And I know that I need to make a quick push soon. Because my fireball does half the damage of his lightning. So I need to make sure to get a strong push. But it's going to be difficult with the tornado in hand. So since he already used the tornado, I think he uses the lightning here. Yeah, I think he used the lightning to... Okay, here. Now, since he wasted the tornado and his lightning spell, I used the opportunity to capitalize on his mistake. And here I would do an aggressive push. Well, as aggressive as I can. And it works out pretty well because I get the Mega Minion on the tower. And I take the tower out. So I just laugh. Yeah, kind of, it's some BM. So you can see there a case of when both players are trying to cycle each other out with spells. But at the end, you want to be the player that outplays their cycle and comes back with a strong counter push. So right here, Pablo, I think I'm gonna show another match. I'm trying to remember which ones were the good ones. Ah yeah, here you can see I got lost. I think this was a good one. Yeah, here. Okay, so this was also another good one. This is a situation when you get a deck that's not ideal, and it's kind of it's very like I'd be careful with it. In a way, like with the Goblin Barrel, and so I start off with the Goblin Barrel, and the Goblin Barrel and the Zap Spell are the only cards that do direct damage to the tower. So I kind of start off with the Goblin Barrel. And this deck is very terrible. Like, my only defensive card is the minions and the tornado. And my only damage really... Oh, and I got the lightning too. So here I log the princess. But then since I cycle so fast from double elixir, I mount a very aggressive push on the opposite lane. And here I've really nothing to do, so I tornado the E-barbs into the center where both arena towers can hit them. And I think they only get one shot. Yeah, that's ideal. And then right here I'm kind of stuck, so I just decided to lightning spell the princess. So this is a case when maybe you have a lot of spells, and it's kind of awkward playing the match. So here his fireball is nothing because you both have awkward hands. And another good thing, another tip I could to remember is that almost everyone has a pattern or a cycle when it comes to playing. For example, whenever I dropped the Goblin Barrel, his counter was always the Fire Spirits. So when I realized that, I saved my Zap Spell for the Fire Spirit. So right there, this was when I found out that his only counter fire to my Goblin Barrel was his Fire Spirits. So from now on, I think I'm gonna use my Zap spell on his Fire Spirits. And right there, I get very good prediction lightning spell. And also, for me, I think playing aggressively, and as you can see, they're got a very successful push. Both towers are very low, but mine are also dangerously low. Both are almost near the 1000s and below 1000 range. So here I drop, yeah, Zap. And you see, I take out the tower. And there I tornado the E-bar away from the tower to prevent all damage. And I was about to prediction log, but then instead I dropped the prince just to be safe. So sometimes you don't want to be fancy all the time, and you gotta play a very like cautious game. But most of the time, when it's double elixir and it's a fast pace, you always want to be aggressive. And there I take another win with the charge from the prince and the lightning spell. I want to see another good one. I'm trying to see another good matchup. I'm gonna show you this one. This is the match that got me the win. So I chose the splash damage to take care of the spammy units like the minions. And here I chose the Dark Goblin because the Dark Goblin is like low key the best card against Graveyard. I feel like the Dark Goblin is very underused and it's very powerful. I think because you could log it and arrow it, it's not as viable in the game. Because right now in the meta, a lot of people are running arrows. But still, like the Dark Goblin is a great card. So here my opponent has a very strong deck. He has the Bowler, Tornado, and Balloon, all very strong cards in the meta right now. I start off with the Witch, but then I also rocket the Bowler because I could afford it since it's double elixir time. So you gotta remember that you could afford these expensive plays and always try to get value from every single spell you cast on the battlefield. So always try to chip the tower as well as the troops in the surrounding area when using a spell. Especially since sometimes these battles may come down to just like a couple hundred hit points. I think after this I'm gonna show you a loss. I had this very close loss where I barely lost. And I'll show that one. So here I drop Spirit Golems on the opposite side to do chip damage. And I do chip damage so it could be in rocket range. So yeah, also keep that in mind. If you have a strong spell like rocket, lightning, or fireball, like try to keep chipping the tower until you could use a spell to take it out. So here has a strong push, and I rocket the balloon. Yeah, so I rocket the balloon successfully. And it's good to use spells on defense as well. Especially since I'm dominating the match right now. So I kind of had a bad Prince play right there. I didn't expect him to drop the E-Barb so quick. So that's another like good thing to remember. Is that your opponent cycles through cards just as fast as you do. Or maybe even faster if they have like a chip a log bait deck, like an arrow bait deck. So keep that in mind when making your plays, because you want to stay keep up with the opponent and try to outplay them. So right here it's kind of getting tricky. I think I mini P.E.K.K.A. Okay, I think I should have arrowed. But here I got the Spirit Goblins going in the opposite lane, trying to take down the tower to rocket range. And my goal on the other side is just to defend. And right there, I almost get the tower down. And my tower is also very low. All he needs is just like a balloon hit and a log, and that would be GG. So right here drops the balloon. No, he drops the minion horde. I arrow the minion horde. Oh, and the prince gets a charge off the tower, but it doesn't really matter because it's not the tower I'm going after. And here I saved my arrow targeting units for his balloon because I knew it was coming out soon. So 75 hit points, and then I dropped the spirit goblins for chip damage, and I arrow the tower for the win. So just cycle and cycle, especially since I can't really stress this enough, especially in this challenge. Like, use the spells because in the long run, it's very helpful. I think this was the very close one. No, wait, I had two losses. One. Oh, okay. I think this was the very. Tends to remember. I did this match. Oh no, it was this one. It was this one against. It wasn't a loss. It was a win. Okay, so here against Professor X from Reddit clan. The Reddit guys are very strategic about their gameplay. And okay, so right here, you might be thinking, why did I choose the Lava Hound over the Miner? And the simple reason is that since I could cycle cards very quickly, I could cycle my air targeting units very quickly and take care of the Lava Hound. But on the other hand, the Miner is just constant chip damage. And with that constant chip damage, it's much easier to win a battle. And also, the Miner is more versatile and a better card to use. So I think this will be the last match I will be showing. So here I have a spawner deck basically with the Barbarian hut and the Goblin hut. In Clash of Clans, it's not a hut, it's a barrack, but I don't know. I guess the Clash Royale developers try to be different. And here I Miner the Princess. Once again, very versatile card. Miner is it's one of the epics that will always be good because it's so unique with its ability. A lot of people compare it to a knight, but it's not really a knight. Even though they have similar statistics, a miner is way more versatile. Like, yeah, you could use it to take care of palms, princesses, chip damage, all that good stuff. So here, I was about to be falling Elixir, so I was kind of forced to drop the hut in an awkward place. And once again, I poisoned the Musketeer. He's getting value. So here it's a Lava Hound deck versus a Spawner deck. And it's a Relic guy, so he obviously knows what he's doing. And here I zapped the Princess just to cycle. He misplaces his skeletons and doesn't get my miner. And here, I think he arrows my minions. Yeah, so he was very well played on his part using the Musketeer to take care of my barrack. Here I poison the area to avoid any damage. And right here it's getting a bit dangerous. He's mounting a giant push. And yeah, he takes out the tower. I just didn't have the right cards to play at the moment. But here at this point, I can't really play defensively anymore, so I'm forced to play aggressively with the miner and cycle my poison spell. So here I don't play spawners, I don't think. Here my goal is just to be very aggressive and keep the pressure on. So I drop one spawner. But that's pretty much it. And he drops his lava hound, and all I want is to trip him out. So here I was kind of fortunate to have the miner. So another tip is in a challenge, if you're giving a choice between a miner and another card, pick the miner because the miner could cycle very quickly and get lots of good damage on the tower and take out a tower. Because as you could saw, I was down like 1,000 and like over 1,500 hit points on the other side. But with minor poison, I took out the tower. And I barely found out the bomber actually takes care of the princess in one shot. Never knew that, but just interesting fact, the bomber takes care of the princess in one shot. So here, kind of reset. I think this is the point where I start placing spawners again, just to keep the pressure on since we're even on damage. And here he does a better job of defending the princess, but still take care of it with the miner. Once again, very versatile card, very good, very strong in the meta. And he has the Lava Hound with Ewiz and Musketeer. And my counters are, yeah. So he sets up his spawner and I set up my Goblin Barrel. And I drop the bar pot on the other side to give him something to worry about. So here I play the defense since the ball is in his court. Alright, he's controlling the match because he has the stronger push. I'll poison the area with to avoid any troops from being placed there, because no one wants to place troops in the poison, especially since I think that the poison takes care of a equal level musketeer if you're both equal level. Here he drops his princess just for chip damage. Also, if you have an option between a card and a princess, choose a princess. Like it's very log baity, and if you place at the bridge, you're guaranteed at least one hit if you play it smart enough. So choose the princess for the cycle damage. And this challenge really isn't about big pushes in my opinion. It's just more about cycle damage. Because even if you're able to create a big giant push, they may be able to counter it. So it's better to like play uh, passive aggressive, like playing very quick at times, but then staying back up and defending their push, and then playing aggressively again, like spelling their tower. And here I outcycle him with poison spell. So I think I zap here, and I get the Ewiz. I mean, not the Ewiz, the wizard, and that's the win. Just cycling. So here, my final tips are just picking good cards that cycle very well, great on defense, such as the miner and the princess. I'd say cards to avoid is the baby dragon, avoiding barbarians, avoiding minion horde, and avoiding what's another card to avoid? Avoiding using the clone spell, avoid using the mirror. The heal spell is kind of questionable because the heal spell works well under certain conditions. Yeah, just avoid using those cards. But anyways, guys, I hope you found the tips helpful in some way, and maybe you could apply it on the draft challenge and get your own 12 wins and get the nice gold. Right now I have 141,000 gold, the most gold I've had in a while. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day/night, and peace.